Good morning, students. I hope you guys are biochemically active wherever you are in your various homes. In our last class, we discussed production of energy, where we spoke extensively on the various classes of energy. And secondly, we mentioned fossil fuel as one of the non-renewable source of energy. Today, we are looking at a new subtopic under that topic, production of energy, titled Alternative Sources of Fuel and Energy. And by the end of this lesson, I expect each and every student to be able to discuss the need for alternative sources of fuel and energy. Then secondly, we must be able to list and explain the alternative fuels. Thirdly, we must be able to outline the alternative energy sources. All right? To begin with, why do we need alternative source of fuel and energy? Why do we need this? Now, in our previous class, we said 80% of the commercial energy is sourced from fossil fuel. And don't forget that this use of fossil fuel is not environmental friendly. And that is why we need an alternative source of fuel and energy. Now let's see this. There is growing interest and development on alternative source of fuel and energy. 80% of commercial energy is gotten from fossil fuel, which are non-renewable. I think we have mentioned that. All right? Then there is need to reduce our level of over-dependency on this fossil fuel. Let us proceed. What are the examples of alternative transport fuels? So we're going to start from fuels now. Number one, we have diesel. If you reference back to our knowledge on petroleum, one of the fractions of petroleum is diesel. But we discovered that this diesel is not environmental friendly. Now, what we are trying to do here is that we want to look at a way how we can make use of diesel engine, which is more efficient than petrol engine. We discovered that petrol engine is not as environmentally friendly as diesel engine. Why is this happening? In diesel engine, you have less production of carbon monoxide in the atmosphere than in petrol engine. And one of the major drawbacks in the use of diesel engine is that they have the production of nitrogen oxide to the atmosphere. And don't forget, we said nitrogen is an all-reactive element unless it is subjected to a very high temperature. All right? So due to their high working temperature, I think we have mentioned that, then the major problem here is smoke and the odor it produces. So it doesn't really have any much effect apart from the fact that nitrogen 4 oxide is an is an oxide of nitrogen that leads to acid rain. Then it produces smoke, and the odor coming from it is not too good. All right? Let's look at gasoline. There's a way you can generate gasoline, that is your petrol, from methanol. So instead of you generating gasoline from crude oil, we can get that from methanol. And how do we do this? Methane is first converted into what is called methanol. And this methanol will now be treated with what is called a catalyst named zeolite. That is our ZSN5. This one can also be used in water softening. Then that will now lead to the conversion of methanol to what? To gasoline. So this gasoline can also be used as an alternative fuel. Then the next one is LPG or CNG. What do we mean by LPG? LPG means liquefied petroleum gas, while CNG means compressed natural gas. That's what we have stated here. And when you look at this liquefied petroleum gas and CNG, we discover that in some of the countries, they are making use of these as their fuel. So instead of them making use of petrol or diesel or some other fuel obtained from fossil fuel, they make use of LPG, like in Japan. All taxis in Japan use LPG, and many motorized rickshaws in India run on compressed natural gas. Now, the next one is our biofuel. These are fuels derived from biomass, that is, plants, materials, and animal waste. And another one, example of this biofuel is ethanol, which is gotten from fermentation, while carbon dioxide is released as a byproduct as well. Then vegetable oil from crops like sunflower and rapeseed are also being developed as a fuel. Okay? Then we also have the hydrogen fuel. In fact, presently now, if not because of the fact that hydrogen fuel is seen to be very expensive, it will have been the best fuel ever. And that's just because it has a very high calorific power. When this hydrogen is burnt in air, it produces water. And not only water, it produces a more energy per gram than any other types of fuel. Before you can have hydrogen fuel working for you in all our vehicles, there is need for us to have what is called fuel cell. Fuel cell. These are questions you may be asked in IGCSE. Then this fuel cell has electrodes, which must be filled with hydrogen and oxygen. Then you might be asked to write the overall reaction of the fuel cell using hydrogen fuel. This is our overall reaction. That is, hydrogen gas reacts, is burnt in here to produce water. That's our steam. Then what are the benefits of this hydrogen fuel? It is non-toxic. It has a zero emission of non-toxic. It has a zero emission of carbon dioxide. Then it is less flammable than every other fuel. And it is renewable, most especially when it is sourced from solar energy. What are the drawbacks? What are the disadvantages of this hydrogen fuel? One, it is very expensive because the major method used in producing this in large scale is with the use of electrolysis. Take note of all these points. They are very, very important. And few hydrogen filling stations, because presently we only have petrol station, diesel station. We just have few hydrogen filling stations. And that may be very expensive to establish. Okay, let's look at the next stage. What are the examples of alternative source of energy? We have the nuclear energy gotten from nuclear reaction, solar energy. So instead of us making use of fossil fuel, we can depend solely on the sun. Then we also have the biogas, which is a mixture of methane and carbon dioxide, which is obtained from anaerobic decomposition of organic matter, like animal waste, which can, at the end of the day, be used as a fuel. I believe with this short description I have made on alternative sources of fuel, I believe you students will have a very good background knowledge of the topic. And when we get to the Google Classroom, we are going to discuss extensively and in detail on this topic. And as I await you at the Google Classroom, I pray that God bless you. Thank you.